Hi, guys. I am back. This is a solo. I am coming back I've been in California for a week, and I just went to my 40-year high school reunion. 40. That's insane to me that I'm this old. I mean, I always know I talk about it, but when you start talking about 40 years since you graduated high school, it's like eye-opening. But I will say this, I am very surprised. I know that sounds weird. I'm super surprised and how I feel after this and how full my heart is. You know, I didn't graduate high school. For those of you who don't know, I didn't graduate high school. I chose to go to Japan and model. And when I came back, I thought I was holier than thou, and I didn't think I needed to go back to high school. So there's that. But I will say this, going back and being around all these people at this age with all of us, everyone's had kids and had their own careers and whatnot. And to go back and not talk about work at all, which was amazing, just talk about families and kids and what they're doing. And, but I think the most eye-opening for me was to go back and have no self-consciousness and no hesitation about just geeking out and being me. I'm super, super introverted. Honestly, I talk all day long to retailers and to wholesale gift showrooms and explain what we're doing and why we're doing it. I have the podcast. I talk here. So when I'm home and by myself, I've become very private and very antisocial. That's probably the best way I can do it. And I'm really trying to let go of that and go out more. Like, we're here in Oregon now. I really don't know many people. My best friend's here. Matt from Fine Lines is here, and he's introduced us to an incredible community of people. And I'm really trying to expand my comfort zone and really go and talk to people and go to events and go to parties, because I'm not going to kid you. I really don't go out at all. When we go to the gift shows, there's parties, there's events, there's this, that. I never go. I rarely go to dinner. I went to dinner with Barbara and just her daughter because there's just the three of us this last show. But by far and large, I am very antisocial. And to go into something like my high school reunion where, you have those same weird insecurities you had when you were in school. And they carry with you, no matter who you are, you still have these weird insecurities. But it was so much fun to go and just be free. And I say free because I guess it was free feeling. I was dancing on the dance floor with my friends from school, singing at the top of my lungs. I don't know half the words, and I have no sense of rhythm. And I didn't even dance at my wedding because Dave doesn't have rhythm either. So to go out there and just have so much fun and let go of whatever insecurities or whatever it is, just to go and have fun was the most amazing cathartic experience. And I literally did not expect to feel like this leaving that situation. I really didn't. I laid in bed that night and all I could do is just smile, thinking about some of the connections that I had re-met and talked to friends and connections. Thank God for social media, to meet people that I really didn't know in high school through social media and become very close to them and see them finally in person and spend some time catching up was just amazing. My heart is so full right now. And I'm sure you can hear my voice because literally we just got back yesterday. But I wanted to come on here because I'm going through this weird transition. I've moved. I have a lot of work wholesale, and I still have a handful of retailers. And this is the weird part. I've been in retail my entire life. I love retail more than anything in the world. I love merchandising, design, display more than anything in the world. But I'm realizing my retail part of it is getting smaller and smaller. And part of it is purposely, I'm purposely letting go of some retailers, and I'm not pursuing a whole lot of other ones. And I'm having, I think right now at this point in my life, now that we're up in here in Oregon and I've had a chance, when I'm doing the gift shows, I live in Atlanta or I live in Las Vegas now for months, sometimes on end. And I'm by myself. I'm just working. It's just I made it a deal with myself before we left California, was that if I am going to continue doing these jobs where I'm living offsite and away from Dave and the dogs and everything that I love, then I'm going to make sure when I'm home that I'm home and I'm not racing off to another job, because that's usually what would happen. I would come home from the gift show. I would have a couple days off, and then I would go right into my retailers who have not seen me, since I started the gift show setup. So they need sprucing up and new sets just as bad as they need somebody there like maintaining. But by far and large, they're waiting for me to do these big sets and not doing them right after I'm getting back from the gift show, and allowing myself to take the time and be present here at home has been eye-opening and also a gift. I worry about money. There's obviously, if you're not working, you're not making money. And I worry about that, but I've really have tried to put all my intentions in while I'm at the gift show to do as much as I can so I can be off and I can be present. And so I'm just now coming back into my retailers after having that time off. And two eye-opening things happened this last trip. One is, I always tell you guys, take time off, relax. You need to reset. You need to have that time post-Christmas, whatever it is, in order for you to reset so you feel creative again. I apparently don't listen to my own advice because I would just keep going. And there are times that I do run into a creative block and I don't know what to do because I'm quite frankly tired and I'm burned out. Sometimes when it comes to my retailers, what's been happening is everyone's sales have kind of slowed down. So the amount of products coming through that I'm used to working at, just like the amount of sales you guys are used to having where it was booming and there's money coming in and it was nonstop merchandise coming in. For me, it was great because there was nonstop merchandise for me to be able to reinvent and change out and, all the exciting things. Your inventory is not coming in as fast as often now. It's kind of slowed up. You are being smarter with how you're spending your money. You don't have as many shipments coming in. It does not look the same. Same thing for me, like where I'm used to having a lot of things constantly changing and being able to reinvent. I'm having to go back to my basics of where I used to say, reinvent the same things, like take the things you own, add a few new things and reinvent them. But what was happening was I was so tired and burned out. I'd get to the stores and it was the same merchandise I merchandised the last time. There wasn't a lot of new introductions because I'm not going to interrupt myself because that's one thing I really realized in listening to some of these recordings while I was driving from California to Oregon is like, damn, I cut myself off a lot. But when you have the chance and you have a lot of older stuff, just adding some new introductions allows you to make the older stuff look new and fresh. Like you do need some new introductions just to keep things fresh. I was getting in the stuff. There's some new stuff, not a lot, certainly not what I was used to. And I was really having challenges reinventing and looking at some of these products differently. And when I say differently, I really try and mix things up completely. Like if it's this candle that we've shown, rosy rings. We've had rosy rings at Miss Ani. I'm going to use her as an example. And I've shown it on this little flower cart. And I've done candle plates, matches, floral books, amazing floral. So it was this big, abundant, yummy statement. Well, they're not ordering as many flowers. They've stopped ordering matches. the rosy rings have gone down as far as inventory levels, obviously. And there wasn't a lot of new stuff to add to it to make it look new. There's no more floral books and whatnot. So I as a merchandiser, and any merchandiser listening to this, as well as I'm sure retail owners, like after a while, you do have a hard time reimagining some of these older things. So fast forward to, I've been here in Oregon. I've had a month here to be present and take the dogs for a walk, get out, not be working with merchandise, and then go back to Serendipity and Raw Paradise this week. And same product, some new introductions, not a ton, but to be able to look at not just the tabletops, but the whole store as a whole and really look at it with a different lens and really look at it with fresh eyes was so eye-opening. Like I was both on this high of like, oh my gosh, look how good this looks with this. Looks how good this, like, let's move this and let's move this. And I get super excited when, I love what we're doing and when it's starting to come out new and I can see what it's starting to look like I get super excited. And it was so incredible to go into this, like feeling super excited and being re-inspired, really, truly re-inspired by the products that I had merchandised forever. There's some new introductions again, but by far and large, to really mix it up completely, as well as really make some major shifts. I mean, we moved in both Raw Paradise and Serendipity. I made massive changes, like where we shifted things from front to back. And ideally, now that I'm not in these stores every other week or so, that the changes that we do when I'm there are bigger, that will last them longer and make a bigger difference. So it was really eye-opening and incredible to come and do these sets. And it was, like I said, I was literally jumping around, like so excited about, like, look how good this looks. Look how good this looks. And it was all with the same stuff we had forever. And it was also with some new introductions, but just the fact that I think I was rested. I was looking at it with fresh eyes. I hadn't touched it in 3 months and it was so gratifying, like so gratifying. The other thing that I will say that the epiphany that I had was some of my stores are not run as well as other stores. You know, I know everyone gets kind of lackadaisical and cleaning is a major thing, especially when you're talking about a lot of inventory. Trying to get the staff to clean and clean well is challenging. And then when they do, God forbid they don't take a picture of it and they take everything off the shelf and it gets put back on, the whole display is like dismantled. And I think a lot of times the owner doesn't want to deal with that. But, you know, by far and large, the store is not getting clean because people are either cleaning around it or they're not cleaning at all. Barbara from Daisy's Mercantiles there's a no cleaning around product rule. And there's something to be said about that, taking everything off the shelf, wiping down the product. Because I've always said that if you, and Dale from Caton in his interview, if you listen to the first interview with us, he talked about Caton's standards as far as their stores that they bring in, because they don't accept everybody. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't realize, that a lot of these lines don't accept everybody. So if they do accept you, there is a standard that they expect their displays to be held at. Caton is one of them. They expect a fold to be a certain way. They expect things to be hung a certain way. They expect things to be steamed. Like that store is a representation of that brand. And if you have a store and your staff is not cleaning and wiping down things, if they are not wiping tables down, if they're not vacuuming, if there's dead plants, if there's things that are clearly being skipped over, what happens is you're devaluing your product. You're saying, I don't care about it. It's okay if it's dirty and dusty. And I had used an example a long time ago about a beauty store that I used to work for, Wilshire Beauty. And it was massive. This thing was like as big as a grocery store, like no joke. But they would have very expensive facial care. I mean, La Mer and like some of these lines. And you would pick up when I would do moves, I'd pick up the bottle and it was like, your fingers were black. And I would bring it up to the owner, like, you guys, like, somebody's got to clean this. You can't expect somebody to pick up a bottle of $150 face cream and their fingers are dirty. Like, what is the message that you're giving back people? And it's usually when I'm bringing things up, they're usually not what the owner wants to hear, because usually it means somebody that they put in charge is not overseeing and making sure this stuff happens. And it's usually, quite frankly, annoying to the owners to hear this. And I bring it up because I am very passionate about what the stores look like, what the cleanliness is. Are there dead plants? Like, all of this has to do with the standard of the store and how the store looks to the customer. So the store that I'm talking about has been a challenge for the last year of keeping it clean. And because when you go in, I would go in, I'd start moving things. I have to clean the shelves and clean the products. I've always said that if we are doing display and we're remerchandising, we are cleaning it down. But in that same breath, the merchandiser is not your cleaning person, and the merchandiser shouldn't be the only one cleaning. And the only time your store is getting clean should not be when your merchandiser is there doing a set. And after a year of going through a conversation about how the store is not clean and dirty and dusty and expensive products, and trying to make people understand that the message that you're giving your customers when things aren't clean, and trying to get that message through, has made me extremely frustrated and has made me super resentful, because then I get in there and you want to get creative, and now you're stopping to stop and you're having to like literally dust every single piece of product. And it's not fun to go into stores like this where you've set it up and you weren't there for a couple months, and then you go back and it's like, it's dirty, it's dismantled, the display is fallen apart. It's not just because it's sold through, it's because no one's maintaining it. And it's super disheartening as a merchandiser, because we really care about what the stores look like. I really, really care. And it's disheartening to watch something that you've spent so much time on building and growing and loving, truly loving. I don't own the product. It's not my store. Why we merchandisers care this much, I don't know where it comes from, but it's definitely something all of us carry. We all really care about what our stores look like. So when you go in and you see the state of some of the stores, it's really disheartening. And I had this epiphany that while going through this and me bringing it up again, and the cleanliness, and I don't want to be a nag. I realize I don't want to be a nag. And I could turn a blind eye and just clean it down and do my thing and move along and go to the next place. But that doesn't do me that does me a disservice, and it does the store a disservice. But there's a certain point when you bring it up and over and over and over again, it's like, I kind of akin it to the boyfriend or the friend that you have that keeps pushing your buttons. And all of a sudden you wake up and you're all, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. And you're not mad and you're not sad. You're just like, it's almost a relief to have that thought and to walk away from it. So I have chosen to start walking away from some of my retailers. I love more than anything what I do, but I can't love it more than the owner. I can't care about it more than the managers. I can't be the person that's always picking it up and putting it back together only to watch it fall apart again. And when I talked to somebody, they said it's like being friends with an alcoholic that you know what's happening and you are there watching the person drink themselves to death, and you keep bringing it up, and they're going to do what they're going to do. You have to kind of take yourself out of it so you don't go down with it. And that's the epiphany I've started to come up with. And I'll be honest, it's really weird. It's weird to be talking about it, but so much of what I do, you guys all know about. So I feel like I wanted to talk about it because it's something that not just merchandisers, but managers, whoever, when you really care about something, it's not, I guess what I'm trying to say is I cut myself off again, is it's not about the money. It could be about the money and I just go in, clean, reset it, walk away, come back. I mean, that, if you think about it, that's really job security. But to me, it's really because I care. It's really because a lot of my retailers, some of them I have literally built up from the ground up. They're literally a labor of love that I care so deeply about what it looks like, the sales that the store has from what we've done, the presentation, all of it. And I don't know why I care so much. I really don't, but I do. And I think if you talk to most merchandisers and most people that really love retail, and whether they're a manager or a merchandiser, I really think if you talk to them, they really care. We really care a lot more than maybe we should. But it's never been about the money. And I realize I can't keep going and doing the same thing and making myself crazy and making me a nag and nagging them. And then the staff's all bummed out and then the owner jumps on them. And then it's like, I don't know. And after a year of it, I realize it's time to walk away. And I think what it's happening in my head is that I'm having to think about what my future looks like. I'm mostly known for my work in retail. My work in wholesale showrooms is starting to, for sure, supersede my work as in retailers right now. And now I'm in a state that I don't work with any retailers here. I'm lucky enough to be able to go back to California and work for my retailers there, but it's starting to make me or force me to look at what does the next 5 years look like? And what does MC Design look like if we don't have a lot or any retailers? What does that look like? And that's a hard one because this is all I've known. And this is what I think a lot of people follow me for on MC Design. And I know I share things with merchandising, and my husband was saying to me, you could still do videos in the showrooms, but the difference is videoing in a showroom, you're merchandising one brand only. Where retailers, I'm able to work on people's floor and show how different lines work together, how to do cross merchandising, like all of those things. And I can still do the floor setting videos and whatnot for my wholesale showrooms. But by far and large, a lot of what I teach and talk about is what you as retailers go through. And this isn't a midlife crisis, but it certainly is making me wonder what the future holds for me and what it's going to look like for MC Design Collaboration. And while I'm kind of excited, because I've always said one door closes, another 5 or 10 open. And even when I decided to walk away from this one retailer, I had a call right away from somebody else for another showroom in Las Vegas. And I'm very grateful and very lucky, but it's definitely starting to make me wonder what does the future look like for me as a merchandiser in retail? And if I'm going to continue doing lessons, what does this look like? Am I going to retailers and saying, hey, I'll re-merchandise your tabletop for free? I'll come in and do it if I can film. I don't know. It'd be interesting to ask you guys what you think, what you'd like to see. And I guess that's what I'm asking you now is what would you guys like to see? And if I am doing only wholesale, what would you guys like me to focus on? Because obviously, I could talk about the architecture still. I could talk about floor setting. I could talk about how I have curated the collection or how we've created this ambiance for this collection or all of those things. But I want to tell you guys, I'm pretty transparent about what's going on. And I wanted to bring it out there because also I think that sometimes I'm looked at as, or at least I've heard, I don't know if I've heard it or I've seen it, whatever, but I have understood that some people believe that I will just stop working on jobs because of reasons that don't make sense to the people. And they're really for this one as going forward. For some of them, there really is a reason behind it. And for this retailer, then I'm saving myself and my sanity, so I'm not losing my mind every time when I go into a dirty store. And because my pride and my love of these retails and retail stores and retail owners is so deep on what the store should look like and how important it is to me that the person I'm working for or the store that runs the team that runs the store, if it's not important to any of them, like I can't be the only one that cares like that. And it's not, I refuse to just turn a blind eye. I just can't. It's not in my nature. It never has been. So one door closes, 5 more open. But please send me an email, a DM. Please let me know what you think about. If it's just wholesale showrooms, what would you like to see? And if it's not wholesale showrooms and I'm starting to do online classes, what would you like to hear? Would you like them to be long? Would you like them to be short? Would you like it to be in a real setting? Like all the things. I would love to hear what you guys think. And then I also want to remind everybody that Show Me Your Stores has been reformulated, and we are sending you a form. Somebody else is monitoring where they're coming into. It's coming into only one place. It's coming into one place, meaning all the places that you can put the information in is all funneling into one place that my assistant is following and watching. So I will never I won't have something slip through the cracks on my watch. But if you comment, Show Me Your Stores on any of the MC Design collaboration posts, it will send you an auto response of a form that you can upload photos or videos and tell us what we can help you with. I will do the video on your store. I will talk about what my suggestions are as a seasoned merchandiser. I will send it, I will post it, and then you have a free 15-minute Zoom call with me that you can either ask me other additional questions that you have from the video, or like some people have done, they've taken the information I've given them, they've reset it, and they've walked me through the new setup. And it gives me a chance to see what they did, gives me a chance to give them some feedback. But by far and large, this is a great opportunity to work with me for free and to, maybe like, what do you call it? Spot correct portions of your store. I can't cover all of it. So if there's one spot you want to pick out, or I don't even know if that was the right phrase, to be quite honest, what I just said, but if you want to pick out one spot in your store, whether it's traffic, food, or floor planning traffic, if it's your window display, it's your tabletop display, it's your counter, it's getting people to a section of your store that there's not traffic to, whatever it is, pick one, video it, send pictures, give me a full detailed explanation, and then send it back, and then we'll take it from there. But I hope that you guys will take me up on this. I'm super excited about it. Thank God it's more organized now, because I'll be honest, it got kind of crazy with how many emails were coming from all different directions, which was challenging for me to keep them all in one place. So now they're all in one place, or very organized, and Danielle has got her eyes on it. So that's it for me. We are heading into the holiday setups as I speak. And then I am off to Atlanta for 180 degrees. We have a new client. We are opening 3 different location spaces for them: Dallas, Atlanta, Las Vegas. I have all my regular spaces, but we have a very busy season coming up. So hopefully we'll have a lot of content from wholesale showrooms, as well as I'll be setting up my retailers for holiday as well. And I'll make sure I'm showing you what's going on there as well. As always, thank you all so much. If you would like to leave a review, I would be very grateful for that. You can leave it on anywhere you listen to podcasts, or you can leave it on our website at theretailpodcast.com. And that's it. Thank you guys all for listening to me babble on. But again, like I said, I really felt like I wanted to bring this to you and tell you what's going on with me, because they are real life situations that all of us are going through, whether you're a merchandiser or a retailer. But it's always helps, I think, to talk about what you're going through. So thanks for talking it out with me. I'll see you guys soon.